If OK Boomer was a digital assistant like OK Google, what sorts of answers would it give you to certain questions? OK Boomer. Directions to 5th and Montgomery. We don't need a map. I know where it is. Waits a minute. Fuck, this drives me crazy. I use Google Maps damn near everywhere because it reroutes based on real-time traffic. Ride in the truck with my dad and he always takes his routes. We were in a whole different state and the person, Boomer, driver wanted to go to a restaurant she had been to once 2+ years ago, and she insisted that my Google Maps and my friend's Apple Maps were wrong and continued getting us more lost as she kept saying, I remember it was near the library and then you have to turn onto the interstate. I just had a horrible thought. What if I become the old man that's getting everybody lost with Google Maps while my grandkids are insisting on using some new shit? Come on, Granddad. The chiral network says you should have turned back there. OK Boomer. What's the most effective birth control pill? Quote. The most effective birth control pill is an aspirin between your knees. Actual quote from a friend's parent. I'll never forget it. I can totally get fucked and keep an aspirin between my knees. Boomers ain't heard of doggy style? Doggy what? You're supposed to be doing it face to face through a hole in a sheet. OK Boomer. Where's the nearest recycling center? We have trash cans. OK Boomer. How's the weather today? Open the window and stick your arm out. Is it wet? That must mean it's raining. Is it cold? Put on a sweater. Try figuring out things on your own, kiddo. This is the nicest Boomer reply just cause he said kiddo. I'm in my early 20s and I use kiddo and I a secret Boomer. The council will get back to you with a verdict. OK Boomer. What's on TV right now? We only watch the news and Wheel of Fortune in this house. No Jeopardy? Shame. OK Boomer. Open YouTube. How? Can you show me? Quote. Always quickly followed up with, oh, I know how to use computers. I knew how before anybody else did. I'm not dumb, you know. As accusatory as possible, for absolutely no reason when you've fixed the problem in under 2 minutes. Or on the other hand with my dad. No mate love, I don't even know how to switch one on. I just get my kids to do it. Here, I'll give them the phone and you can talk to them while I go back to reading the newspaper. I have the reverse conversation with my dad half the time computers pop up. He'll claim he doesn't know how computers work, and I have to remind him that he's been using them for longer than I've been alive. OK Boomer. What's the weather like? Why don't you go for a walk and see for yourself? Quote. Back in my day, we didn't even have weather. Obligatory walk down the driveway to school in the snow. Uphill both ways. OK Boomer. How can I pay for college? Write a check like I did. I once got in an online debate with my uncle about this very subject. His argument was that he worked a minimum wage job to put himself through college and support his family. So we youngsters should quit complaining. To prove my point, I calculated how many hours it would take at current minimum wage just to pay current tuition at his alma mater. And it was over 100 hours per week. He was so angry that a year and a half later he still had the date of that argument memorized and cited it as an example of my disrespectful attitude. Millennial. Proves a point using math. Boomer. Stop disrespecting me. When you're being disrespected by mathematics you know you're fucked. OK Boomer. Call my husband. Only if you tell me when I'm going to get grandkids. It's about time. Quote. When are you going to start finishing inside our daughter? Quote. I feel like this could be a stand-up bit. Jesus Christ, my aunt every time I visit. OK Boomer. What time is it? What? You don't know how to read a clock. The future is doomed. Nah, the boomer answer would be time for you to get a watch. That's a dad answer, not just limited to a certain generation. Okay boomer. Set a reminder for December 11th. Doctor's appointment at 10 a.m. See, that's the problem with you millennials. You're too dependent on smartphones for everything. Why are you setting up a doctor's appointment anyway? If you're not dying, you don't need to go to the hospital. Back in my day, you don't go to the doctors when you feel sick. You do what real men do and tough it out. Only sissy Nancy boys go to the doctors for feeling sick. Real men only go to the doctors when they have real problems, like getting stabbed through the abdomen with a rusty bayonet from the VC, or contracted syphilis from a Saigon whore. Edit. I forgot to put quotation marks. Okay boomer, play today's hits. That is not music. Now that's not what I call music. Volume 1-2. Featuring a lawnmower at 7 a.m. an unexplained clicking in the knee, inappropriate talk radio at an uncomfortable volume, and the hot new single, Can You Help Me Install This Email? Also included, by popular demand, that loud, obnoxious cough, a sneeze that causes a 9.8 Richter earthquake, a baby, on my flight, these great hits and many more, for the low price of 6 installments of what I think college tuition costs nowadays. Order today by calling 1-800-ASK-BOOMER. You can't forget that loud, obnoxious cough. Okay boomer, turn the thermostat to 23 degrees Celsius. That function is locked to users. Okay boomer, what's the capital of Iraq? Quote, back in my day, we looked things up in an encyclopedia. Damn millennials, so obsessed with their phones. Do you even know how to use a card catalog? Quote, okay boomer, what's a card catalog? Quote, you'd know if you'd ever been to the public library in 1974. They probably have some kind of Twitter email thing now. Okay boomer, take me to the nearest formal sit-down place. Okay snowflake, starting your route to Applebee's. Survivor fans love that. Okay boo, by your age I had a house, car, and $50K in savings. You need to stop asking for handouts. My mom told me when I was 26. I was married and had a house when I was your age. Cool mom. How much student loan debt did you have? My dad knocked up my mom right before he deployed for his first year in the military. Thus, they lived on base housing. No rent, utilities, etc. They basically paid for food and stuff to keep us kids entertained. My mom worked, but that's because my dad is very stingy with his money. Her and my dad all the time. Well, when I was your age I had 2 kids. I lived out on my own, and I was paying for all of my own stuff. Quote, no student loan debt, no real bills, no heavy expenses. Of course, when I point this out to them, they tell me that I should have gone into the military. I fucking hate the military. How dare you choose a different life path for yourself? Okay boomer, look up therapists near me. Have you tried thinking positive thoughts? Well, have you? Back in my day, we used to pull up our bootstraps and grit our teeth. Young folks these days don't even know what's going on in your heads. The fact that boomers don't understand the meaning of pulling yourself up by the bootstraps never ceases to aggravate me. What does it mean? Genuine question. Edit. Thanks for the definitions. I'm clear on the meaning now. Okay boomer, volume up. What, do you want to become deaf? Quote, okay boomer, restaurants nearby, we have food at home. The nearest Cracker Barrel is only 28.6 miles away. My parents, prime boomers, drove from Tennessee to Washington State. They routed to as many Cracker Barrels as possible. They're confused and sad that there isn't a single one within driving distance of Seattle. They also insisted on driving an hour north of Seattle to go to Walmart for some random shit that was readily available nearby. They're categorically insane. This is good advice to keep you from blowing all your money on avocado toast. Okay boomer, can you please autofill my credit card details on this site? What? You want to give your details to a stranger? Are you nuts? Just go drive a half an hour to the store and buy it in person. It's safer that way. Proceeds to download malware that gives all bank info to Eastern Europe hackers. Or give their info to the nice Saudi prince who wants to give me an inheritance.
Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox.